we have declined more work than we've probably taken on.
Elle, instead of starting with a bio, I love to start here. So what does Activate stand for today, and how did you personally end up building the firm this way?
Yeah, I was an accountant. I've been in the accounting industry for about 10 years now, and I had met my current business partner. We were both working at a firm a few years ago, for a number of years together, and I can't take the credit for the founding of Activate because that was all his idea. I actually was a bit scared to take the leap and go from being a manager within a firm to owning our own. The idea intrigued me, but I was scared to make the leap. I had a 1-year-old daughter, and it was, yeah, I guess a bit of a risk, right? To leave it all behind, leave the secure
Always.
job that I liked and, was paid well to go and start our own thing. So after I think 2 or 3 times of saying no to him, I think I was convinced that maybe we should just give it a crack, right? What was the worst that was gonna happen at the end of the day? If it didn't do well, then we're in such demand as accountants, and I could probably go get another job quite easily. So I thought, stuff it, let's take the leap and do it. So I guess the main reason that we did it, though, there was two really. The key one was that we saw a real need for accountants providing proactive advice and having a real relationship, because that is so sought after. So many businesses are looking for that advice and that key partner, not getting it. Unfortunately, there's a customer service issue in our industry. So we saw that there was a real need for that sort of relationship and to provide that sort of service. And the second was, I guess, the experience to own your own business and have the ultimate flexibility and freedom. For me, with a young family, that's something that I really wanted. So that's what we did. And we really founded the firm on relationship-based advice. And we wanted to create a place where we were attracting the best talent as well, who aligned with our values. They need to want to talk to people and have a relationship with their clients. It's certainly not about getting the tax return done at the end of the year and saying see you later and talking to them once. So that's kind of what the firm's founded on.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic. I hear a lot of firms talk about being relationship
Mm,
based, right? And Fear actually designed the structure to support that year round. So
that's right.
it's interesting hearing how intentional this been for you. So you stepped into a director role
Mm.
fairly recently. And what changed most in how you make decisions now compared to when you were primarily client facing?
Lot. I think you take for granted moving out of a big firm into a startup, the amount of support that you have in terms of even just the admin side. You're going from doing just client facing work to being the one-stop shop, right? So you're answering the calls, you're doing the sales, you're doing the work, you're reviewing the work, you're the IT person, you're the everything. It was a lot at the start. I am still client facing a lot. And I guess, so we're 18 months old at the moment, and I'm starting to move away from that and move into a more of a support role, reviewing all of the work and supporting the team, which I love. But for me, I think I will always have a portion of client facing time because I love it. It's why I do accounting. I don't think I'll ever be a director that doesn't have clients of my own. I always want to manage at least a small portfolio because I think it's really important to stay in touch with what your staff are going through as well. Because, yeah, I think as some partners can become a little out of touch with the reality of what the workload is, the software that's being used. Me, as being the sole tax agent in this firm, it's important that I stay up to date with the laws and regulations as well. So although, yes, I've moved into that director role and I'm managing a team and reviewing work, I still do speak to clients and have my own base, which I think I will always have.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I had a lot of conversation with firms, and I hear a lot like that when become directors, they step away a little bit.
Big time.
And when I ask questions, okay, well, how is your workflow? They're not even aware how it's happening. So yeah, that's a big,
Yep. Yep, exactly. I just don't know how I could support my team or
exactly.
to the full extent if I'm not in it every day. So that's where we're at currently. Things might change in the future, but I really enjoy talking to clients. So I don't see
Yeah.
myself ever being 100%, in that.
So that's ideal, really. Like with this change,
Mm.
what stopped being optional for you? Like became your responsibility that you don't have the option?
Making the final call on things. Because I used to have, I was making a lot of decisions and I had a lot of autonomy in my last role. I was managing a team, but I had that person above that I could go to, knowing that all decisions actually fall on me in the end is kind of scary. So I think as small business owners or small firm, accounting firm owners, it's important to have other firm owners who and are friends with that you can get on the phone like, what would you do in this situation? Or what are you guys doing with this? Because just having that little bit of, that extra support to know that you're going the right way, because now you have the responsibility of not only yourself completely, but your team, and you want to make the right decisions. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, the work itself doesn't get harder, but the consequence of decisions feel heavier, right? When
definitely.
you become a business owner. Yeah.
Definitely.
So as the firm grows, where do you tend to feel like friction first? It is the people, visibility,
Mm.
consistency, or something else?
Not the visibility. I feel like our systems are really down pat. We invested heavily at the start and we made, I think, some good decisions on the softwares that we're using there. I think people Activate grew really quickly at the start. I think people are excited with new firms. The referrals are coming in from referral partners and other clients because you're new and exciting, and you had that influx at the start. Then things kind of die off again, and then they pick back up, and then we hired our first staff member, and the timing around that is also scary, right? Because you want to hire a senior accountant, someone good is going to cost you a minimum of 100 grand, and you obviously aren't going to have 100 grand worth of fees to support them initially, and there's going to be that lag, right? So getting that decision right, and then managing the clients that are coming in for that new person, because you don't want that new staff member to be completely overwhelmed with 20 new relationships in their first week of starting for us. And right now we're kind of dealing with this at the moment. We've had a massive influx of clients, which typically it's a quieter time of year, December, January, and it really hasn't been for us. So we're now pushing back sales meetings, or we're pushing back onboarding, and just being really honest, like if you come on board, it's actually going to be a 2 to 3 week wait until we actually get you on board to your meeting your accountant, because I won't have my team stressed out because they are the number one priority. So if that means that we're losing a client to someone else, then so be it, because we just don't have the amount of accountants at the moment to support the amount of work coming in. So we're looking at hiring probably in the next few months for another team member. So I think it's managing the work that's
That's a
coming
good
in.
thing, right?
Yeah, it's a great problem to have, right? It's just you don't want to disappoint people, particularly if that work's coming from referrals, because they've said go to this person because they know us. So you want to be taking on as much as possible, but I refused for that to be the detriment of how my staff member is feeling. Yeah, managing the happiness of the staff with the clients coming on and the timing of that is difficult.
Yeah, yeah, most firms don't experience growth as excitement.
Yeah.
They experience as noise, right? So most handovers, more checking, more follow-ups. So yeah. Can you think of a moment where something felt unsustainable, or you had to change to how the firm operated, not just work harder?
Yeah, I think that was probably 6 months in when I had a full client base already. Like it grew so quickly, but we didn't have the admin support side. So we were still doing everything. We were still trying to work on the business, as everyone says, but we 100% had just got ourselves a full-time accountant job, plus trying to be the director and run the firm as well. And that became quite overwhelming. And we knew that we needed that at least that admin support, because there is such that's such a big piece in accounting. And then it kind of happened again when both myself and my business partner had that full client base, when there was just more work coming in the door and we needed someone. And I mean, as you probably heard, like it's hard to get good people in any industry, but it is particularly hard to get good people in accounting. People that are solid with their technical skills, but can talk to people and want to talk to people. Sometimes, historically, accountants have kind of come through and they just like to plug away in the back end, but that's the opposite of what our firm's based on. So
Yeah.
we have to find people that want to talk to people. So that's even harder to find. So we're already feeling like even though our staff member at the moment isn't full, we're going to need somebody else because, yeah, I think managing that is difficult.
Work.
Oh, what did we try first that didn't quite work? I think we got lucky with the first few hires that we've had who are still like with us. We just trying to think if there was a particular thing that didn't really work. No, nothing that I can think of. We pivot quite quickly, and we're lucky that we're small and nimble that we can, if we pick a software, we're like, oh, nah, not working, move and get out of it quickly. So there's been a couple of things like that, but we're lucky that we don't have a 50-person firm
Amazing.
that we're trying to change. So we don't have that problem yet.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So you act fast, right? You see the change, you act. That's fantastic. So what did it teach you about scale? These moments of friction.
That you need processes in place from the get-go. I remember our business coach told us at the very start, as this thing grows, you're going to bottleneck if you don't have the processes behind it and the software to back you. And our processes aren't completely documented and perfect. I won't say that they are, but we've been hyper aware of that and making the process from when a client first contacts us through to when they're getting their work done as smooth as possible, and having all of those things in place that all of the staff are aware of, and just the process on how that works and the systems that are behind it. That's really important. And then the other thing that we've really invested and are continuing to invest in now is AI. We headed to the US back in June. Carbon is a software that we use, like basically our practice management and our workflow software, which I've used in basically all previous firms. We were invited by Carbon over there to do a big 3-day workshop over there, and we were surrounded by the best firms from across the world: Canada, UK, US, Ireland. And it was just like little old Activate. Simon and I flew over to that, and it was a humbling experience because you think you're doing well, and then you're hearing from all these other firms they really are the best of the best, and they were investing heavily in AI, and that's what a lot of the summit was about. So we came back from that, we were really shaken up and pumped to look into it more and invest, and that's what we've done. So now AI Automate is something that is getting built for us at the moment, is going to take over a huge amount of our admin. And the other one that we're using is Vinyl. They're an Australian founded firm who you've probably
Yes.
heard of
I
Vinyl.
talked to him.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's amazing. He's doing such cool stuff. And having a software like that that's built specifically for accountants has been such a game changer with our meetings.
That's really great that you ahead already. I see a lot of resistance as well, and also because there's a lot of noise about AI in the market, and yeah, sometimes firms don't know where to start as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so being ahead there's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. I think in terms of where to start, like that felt like us before we went to the US. Like, we know we should be using it, or but where do we start? And that was
Exactly.
the push that we needed to come back and really look into it. I think the first place I would be getting something like Vinyl in place for all of your meetings, because if it's taking these incredible notes, you don't even have to bring, your pen anymore. It's taking everything down for you. It links with Carbon. It's summarizing everything. It's so fantastic and saving everyone so much time. And then, yeah,
Indeed.
the admin side, because we don't have an onshore admin at the moment, if we can get 90% of our admin being done by AI, then that's fantastic. And the client experience change.
Exactly. That's the thing, yeah. Amazing. Because that's give you the space to exactly focus on the advisory and client relationship that
That's right.
you must focus,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Is there something like that still depends too much on you today? Like even with a team in place and AI?
The phones ring and we're still answering them. I think that sounds like such a simple thing, but yeah, you want that experience from the moment someone contacts to be smooth and seamless, and for it to be an interaction where they're going to want to come and work for us. So with not having that admin person in place and it not just going to a voicemail or something like that, we're
Yeah.
still doing the heavy lifting in terms of the sales side. So there's definitely that. What else? That's probably the key thing that comes to
Is
mind.
Yeah, is this something you actually trying to change, or you're intentionally holding on?
Yeah, no, we do want to change that. It's just, I think it's also hard to relinquish when it's your own business as well. I think that's something that I actually struggled with this in a previous role as well. It's like the old, if you want something done right, do it yourself, which is a really, really bad attitude to have in business, actually, because you're only one person. And so that's something I've constantly been trying to work on and relinquishing roles and responsibilities to other team members. I think it just takes me a little bit longer than maybe it would some others who are happy to get things off their desk, but it's your baby and it's your, it's
Yeah,
your,
I feel that.
yeah, yeah. So I'm definitely not perfect at that and are still working on it. But in terms of even just the answering of the phones, yeah, we will get somebody here doing that. But until they are like a standard that we want, then we'll keep doing it.
Yeah, exactly. It's fine. It's exactly what I say. It's a baby, it's a business. You want to be upfront about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when firms talk about growth, they rarely talk about like what they choose not to do.
Mm.
What you have like deliberately deprioritized to protect the firm.
We have been so picky with the clients that we allow through the doors from day dot. It would have been so easy to take on everyone because it's money in the bank. But if I wanted to work with clients who weren't ideal, I would have stayed where I was. So we have declined more work than we've probably taken on because the client has to be someone who wants a relationship, who wants to grow, because that's where we shine. They have to be using Xero because that's the software that we are experts in. We don't take on any sole traders or startups. We have minimum monthly fees in place. Everything's fixed fee. If you don't like fixed fee, then you're not going to be for us. So yeah, that would for sure have impacted our growth. If we had taken every man and their dog on, we'd be a lot bigger, but I don't think we'd be happier. And I don't think our staff would be as happy. So that's one thing. The accountant themselves will be in the sales meeting and they will determine whether that client comes on. Is that someone that they want to work with? It's not me making that decision, thinking, oh yeah, that's a great fee, come on in. Does that accountant want to work with that person? If not, then they're not going to be for us.
Fantastic. I love that. I love that. I've really protected also, who you want to work with,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
It's fantastic. I love
Yeah.
that. So was that a hard decision?
No, it was made before we even started Activate. We knew that we wanted to be very picky about who we brought on. And I knew from experience that the staff happiness would be reliant on that a lot because painful clients, and there is always going to be some, but if we can reduce that as much as possible and you're coming to work every day and you're working with people that you enjoy talking to, then I think you're going to be happier. So
Best thing.
we've definitely focused hard on that and have been really strict with who we've allowed.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, saying
So no,
no usually like feels risky, right? And but saying yes to everything gets expensive later. So I think that's,
exactly. And you're
will cost
probably
you.
going to be moving that
Yeah.
client on in 6 months' time because they weren't ideal. And now you've wasted the time onboarding them, then offboarding them. I think we've had 2 clients leave in 18 months, one that we removed and the other one they voluntarily left because they found somebody cheaper, which we supported. We weren't going to drop our price.
Yeah.
So the client turnover has been so minor because of how picky we've been at the start.
Yeah. I genuinely love that, Al, for you, really. And for someone like about to step into a leadership role inside a growing firm, what's
Mm.
one thing they underestimate, would you say?
Potentially the feeling of responsibility. I think I remember even stepping into, like, in my last role, going from senior accountant into manager. You feel like the world's on your shoulders a bit. You're the door between the higher up and your staff. And I think you need to take your staffs back at all costs and protect them and go into bat for them. You'll be respected as a leader if you do that. So I always and still do want to have my staff's back as a number one priority. So that would be my number one piece of advice.
I love that. So what would have helped you earlier in this?
What would have helped me earlier? I feel like I've been really lucky with the mentors I've had along the way, actually. In every firm that I've worked in, I've had really amazing higher up managers who have supported my growth and ambition. So I've been lucky in that way. In terms of taking the leap to actually start my own business, I mean, I had a great business partner who was pushing me to do it. All of my friends and family were telling me to do it. I think it was myself holding me back and wanting to be in that safe. Yeah, because you have a young family.
Comfort, the things you know, right?
That's
It's like,
right. You've got that young
yeah,
family, you've got a mortgage to pay, and you like the security of knowing what's coming in. So I think it was probably me holding me back rather than a lack of support.
it's always is, Elle. Same. Yeah. We're all glad that you took the leap.
Yeah, and so am I. It has truly been the best decision. So anybody out there who's in a similar position to what I was, I would absolutely say do it. And it's scary and
100%.
it's hard work, but it is truly the best.
It is. So looking ahead, like what does working better mean for you and the firm over the next couple of years?
Working better. I think I'm gonna need to relinquish some clients and like you said, kind of I want this director role probably needs to be more like 70% directors, 30% client, whereas it's probably the other way at the moment. So it's going to be me relinquishing some clients and slowly transitioning them to other members of the team so that we can work on building the firm. So that's going to be getting more clients in and getting more staff in a really manageable, slow way because we don't wanna go from here to here and not having.
Break.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. I'm so conscious of that,
Yeah.
and because we advise on businesses, I see that happen. I've seen that happen so many times. So it's really important for us to grow slowly and sustainably because things can pick up really quick and feel a bit scary, and we just kinda need to pull the brakes because, yeah, I don't wanna get to a point where that happens. So there's that. I'm having another baby in June, so there's gonna be a transition there of. Thank
Congratulations.
you, thank you. So I'm gonna have two children and running an accounting firm, so there's, of course, going to be some challenges there. So getting support in place in the lead up to that is going to be really important, making sure the staff and the team feel supported while still allowing me to have that break and then coming back in slowly. So I think we're in for a pretty tough, crazy year, to be honest, with
Yeah.
that happening midway through. But we're just kind of, I think it's important on how you phrase that to clients as well, because it can be like, we know Elle, we've worked with Elle for years and now she's going on mat leave. What's going to happen? But we need to phrase it as a really exciting thing, right? It's like, how exciting, I'm having another baby. We have an amazing
Yeah.
team to support you. It's not, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm
We'll be
going
still
on
here
leave.
for you, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. So that, and that communication and how that gets communicated to the clients is really important. So we'll be managing that over the next few months. Like I said, we're going to have another team member we're searching for at the moment. Yeah, so those are
And you still have a few months, to set up the back end as
that's right.
well, the systems, to support this.
That's right. We're typically in a in a quiet time at the moment until tax planning starts. So I plan to have January, February and March to really get that in place. So yeah, that's the plan.
Fantastic, Elle. So for anyone listening who wants to, follow your work or reach out to you, like what's the best place to find you?
You can find us Activate Business Accountants on Instagram. We spend probably too much time doing reels and stuff like that on there. Also on LinkedIn, but the more lighthearted content and who we really are as people, you'll find on Instagram.
Like, Elle, thank you so much. That was a really thoughtful conversation. I really
Thank
appreciate your
you.
openness as well to be here.
No, I appreciate it.